Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Great.
I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, you know how this day's gonna go, right? I'm gonna have you screaming. I'm gonna have you on your feet because it is truly a glorious day to be alive and to be free and to live in one of the greatest countries in the world.
I'd say the greatest.
The greatest, Tristan says, the greatest country in the world. It is with great honor and great privilege that I stand before you as the host of this glorious day, the 7th annual event of the Emancipation Proclamation celebration known as the Emancipation Proclamation Observance Day, hosted by the Arizona American African Republican Committee. Because we, as Reverend Clyde said, are all from one blood, and there is no need for any walls or any separations or any divisions before us. As Reverend Clyde said, my name is Mona K. Oshana, and I am officially the co-chairman of the American Assyrian Republican Coalition of Arizona. It is a newly formed coalition of the Republican Party, inspired by the great work of the Arizona American African Republican Committee and other Republican coalitions that are here today. Thank you so much. I just want to give you a brief background for those that don't know me. I was born in Iraq. I am a Christian. I was born into what's known as a very small nation called the Assyrians. The Assyrians, if you have read the Bible, are in fact one of 3 nations that is most mentioned in the Bible. The Assyrians, as many know, were not Christians or did not know God. But if you read the story of Jonah, and we just celebrated what's called the rogation of the Ninevites, and Nineveh, today current day Mosul, is where the capital of Assyria was, in Nineveh. When Jonah went to preach to the Ninevites, the Assyrians, they all proclaimed, the king decreed a fast. And as a result of their fast and their plea for forgiveness, God spared the great city of Nineveh. And before you stands the descendants, one of the descendants, and with my husband who's here with me today, of those people that Jesus Christ mentions in Matthew, that there will not be a greater sign than of Jonah, where the great city of Nineveh Jonah preached to, and they in fact repented and lived. So I am also, thank you. I am also a genocide survivor of the current Christian genocide. I want to talk to you about my Lady Liberty, who was my mother. My mother took it upon herself when she saw the dangers under Saddam Hussein regime to take 8 children, yes, 8 children, without the approval of my father. And in the Middle East, a woman does not go against her husband's wishes. Against my father's wishes, and took us all out of Iraq. And it's not as easy as I'm summarizing today, but we left Iraq with the greatest risk that could possibly come upon us had we been found out. With every step, my mother had to be careful, because had she been found out, she would have been executed, we would have been killed, my father would have been killed, even though he had nothing to do with the plan. Point being, we escaped with our life with nothing more than the clothes on our backs, traveling to the neighboring country of Jordan. There waited our turn, and I'm specifically pointing that out, is because where my mother could have ran off to another country and forced herself in, she waited her turn and said, I want to be welcomed into the greatest country in the world, which is America. In Jordan, we waited for our sponsorship paperwork, legal immigration paperwork, to be processed. And in 1978, we came into this glorious country. And today before you, I call her my Lady Liberty, because my mother truly, like the Statue of Liberty, gave me life and gave me liberty. Without her, I would not be standing here today. This event is very special to me, as Reverend Clyde said at the monument. The Emancipation Proclamation was not only for the slaves. It was to free us all. So as a woman from the Middle East who would not been given an opportunity like I have right now, standing before you speaking, because these privileges are not given to women. As many of you might have read, I have lived. It is my privilege, and it is such a great honor and a relief to be able to stand here to say, I am free. And so therefore, on behalf of Mr. Sam Darmo, who could not be here today, Chairman of the American Assyrian Republican Coalition of Arizona, and all of our members and supporters, we'd like to extend our great appreciation of your invitation, Reverend Klein, as we are honored to celebrate with you on this great annual observance of the Emancipation Proclamation issued on January 1st, 1863, by the courageous Republican President, Abraham Lincoln, declaring, and I quote, that all persons held as slaves are and henceforth shall be free. The Declaration didn't just free the slaves only, but it freed all of humanity from their self-inflicted burden of sin, which Lincoln called an unqualified evil to all men and to the state. The Emancipation Proclamation became a war that divided the people at first of our nation between good and evil, compassion and heartlessness. And as long as we had in our nation slavery, we as a country as a whole were in bondage. All of humanity was enslaved. This is why once the Civil War was over, President Lincoln and the Republican Party recognized that the Emancipation Proclamation as a war measure might have no constituency or constitutional validity. They feared slavery would still exist in the former Confederate state as well as in the Union slave state that had been exempted from the proclamation. So the party committed itself to a constitutional amendment to abolish slavery completely. This is why overwhelmingly Republican Senate passed the 13th Amendment by more than the necessary 2/3 majority on April 8, 1864. Which ratified the 13th Amendment in 1865, which ensured that forever after, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist with the United States or within the United States of America. And the people of the nation all said, Amen.